Hey everyone, it's Tim from Linessa Farms Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us today. So today we have something a little different, but I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. We are with Jackie and Tammi today, and we are talking about dairy goats. We're going to talk a little bit about the breed. We're going to talk a little bit about the milking process that they go through, but we're also going to go inside and we're going to go through the process of some of the products that they make. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to find out more. Do you kind of have a favorite breed that you think makes the best milk for you?
We like the Nubian.
How come?
I just the ears.
The ears?
We like color and
Ears.
and yes.
Yeah, it's
And
fun, right?
But every goat has a different fat content too.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, so I think Nubians was a little better than because I do make yogurt and cheese if I have extra milk.
So we've got a whole other thing we didn't talk about.
Yeah, but it's
Yogurt and
from
cheese.
mozzarella
cheese
for
is
pizzas and
delicious.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, it's easy. I make the easy cheese.
She makes cheese spreads.
Yeah, anything I can make that's
jalapeno,
easy.
Whatever.
Wow.
So yeah. So in the mornings.
Can you tell the milk fat percentage when you're actually looking at the milk itself?
I can't say I can because I really don't know, but I feel like I can because it's richer looking, if that makes sense. It's like a thicker, richer. These two girls' milk is unbelievable.
So tell me about the milking window. Now you guys milk the mom and also allow the babies to nurse off the mom as well, or no?
No.
Okay.
We wait for weaning.
Okay.
We wean and then we start milking.
Okay. So how long does that usually last? You're weaning at what, 6 to 8 weeks?
Right.
And then, which is fantastic. Good for you. I'm glad to hear people do that. Sometimes people leave them on too long.
They're so hard on them. I
know.
guess echo.
I know. So once you start milking the mom, how long can you string that out? Like how long can you keep milking that mom before you need to?
Us personally, we only like to milk. We like to let them dry up before we breed again in the fall.
Right.
Just so they have that break.
Right.
I know a lot of people don't. I can't do that.
Right.
I just can't do that to them. I think they deserve a break. So usually we try to go from when we wean until about July or August, and then let them dry up, and then we start breeding. We like to breed in October and November, so we usually get spring babies. But that didn't quite work out this year.
So they're getting a good couple months off, get body condition back up to speed.
Right,
Good.
right.
And that probably helps with your kidding percentages too, really. You know, when mom's a little healthier for ovulation, they tend to have more. And you guys have a good
really?
track record of having twins and triplets and things like that. So that's really good. Is there an age window that you find that they'll milk better than others? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I think now these are our first years and they are doing wonderful. We couldn't be happier with the situation. But Clover, she's done.
Okay.
She's done. She won't jump on the stanchion. She's like, nope, all done. I paid my dues. So that's fine.
how many years do you think you get out of an average doe?
She's probably
8
milked
to
8
10.
years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, she's been a good, that's why when she said she was done, okay.
Now, can you stockpile goat milk for during the off season? Can you freeze it and then you just naturally let it come back up to temp? And
Yeah, so I freeze all my milk. And if people do freeze it and drink it and make stuff with it, I have not ventured into that side of it, but for my soap, I freeze it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how on earth did this happen? So I've known your family for a while. I know that you guys had goats. Did you just wake up one day and you were like, I am going to make soap now?
No. I woke up one day and my mom said, the kids want goats. They got goats, of course. We had them for a few years, and then the kids wanted to learn about milking. Well, if we're going through the trouble of milking, we are going to use that milk somehow.
Right.
So we started using it, making things with it, and then my nephew and my grandma both have really bad eczema. So I started reading online. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can use my milk, make soap, let's try it. So we did. We tried it, and it helped them. And then somebody else says, oh, do you make goat soap? I'm like, well, yeah, just for family, you know. Do you want to try a bar? Sure. And one Christmas, it took off.
Okay.
I'm like, holy moly.
Kind of walk me through your product line. So start off with soap. Was that the first product that you really got into? And then now?
So once we got into soap, we noticed people kind of wanted a little bit more.
Right.
Bath bombs were a big hit. Shower steamers. Then I did finally venture into the lotion.
Okay.
So that...
Is there one product that you'd say is more complicated than another? Or is it all just kind of a matter of time and getting used to it?
Bath bombs are my worst thing because you have to have the right humidity.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I have to have a dehumidifier, a humidifier. Everything has to be just right for bath bombs.
Okay.
Soap, like this is it to make my basic soap. And then the longest thing it takes is 4 weeks to dry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this part is easy. It's the 4 weeks to dry, so you have to stay on top of it to keep it going.
So this is really good. You know, we talk a lot to people about raising sheep and raising goats, and people kind of get fixated on meat markets and things like that, you know, and a lot of people are really averse to that. They don't want to take their babies and sell them for, you know, for meat or anything like that. So this is a really... I think this is a really good eye-opener for some of our customers who kind of fit into that niche to where maybe it's more of a pet or more of a family member that they enjoy having around. But this also gives them an avenue to make another stream of income.
Right.
And it sounds like once you get started, you can kind of start to venture out and see who's biting as far as other products are concerned.
Right.
So now I imagine... the process now versus when you initially started is much, much smoother. At least it seems that way with me. So how long does it, I know today we're going to focus on you showing us how we're going to make the soap. From start to finish with the soap product, about how long would you say it takes? How much are we making in a batch and how long does it take?
I make 12 bars with one batch.
Okay.
I can do loaf and then get a cutter and cut them. When I first started, I wanted the bar of soap to be like a real bar of soap.
Sure,
so it fit in my hand. Because I tell my customers, listen, I want you to take the bar of soap and put it directly on your skin and use it. Don't waste it on your washcloth. Then scrub it off with your washcloth so that it's been on your skin first, because of all the extra the goat milk has in it. It creates a barrier to keep the moisture in your skin.
Okay.
So I always tell people that. I'm like, rub it straight on there.
Okay.
So that's why I was so adamant. So I only get 12 per batch.
Okay.
But I like it that way. So
Do you have to have a lot of goats to get started doing this?
no.
Okay.
Nope. So we milk the goats in the morning, and then I take it home and strain it and put it in the freezer, in freezer bags for each batch. So all we have to do is grab a freezer bag out for that batch of soap. So you don't, because each bar of soap has approximately an ounce of milk in it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a lot, just because goat's milk, as you probably know, is like got everything in it.
Right.
Your vitamins, it's full of all the good stuff. In fact, I made a face soap with charcoal and tea tree and everything, and my friend uses it. She's a diabetic, and her skin is always so dry. And I said, are you sure you want the tea tree and not the lavender? She said, nope, want tea tree. She's been using it probably almost a year now, and she went to the dermatologist and like, what are you doing to your face? She's like, oh, it's goat soap. She's like, whatever it is, keep doing it, because it's really helped us. So I'm like, you can't believe what it can do for your skin. I don't know. I didn't know that either. And then once I started trying it, I was like, wow.
Yeah, and we tried your products. You didn't sponsor us or anything. You just said, here, try this, and we tried it.
That's
and
because we bother you all the time.
but we really, really liked it. It made it. I was really impressed with it. Especially, I really like the felted soap, because when I come in from working and I have a little bit more grime on my hands, I can actually scrub with it, and it does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
Okay, so we're gonna do a quick batch. We got everything already ready.
Okay.
Quick batch of soap. Show you how we get it in the molds, and We cover it up and let it heat up.
Okay.
So once we get done, this soap is around 100 degrees.
Okay.
But once it's done, this gets super, super hot. It's almost like a volcano. And the only reason I know this is because certain scents activate faster. That's why a lot of soaps I have aren't floral, because they will activate. So if that happens, it happened in my bowl, and it was like a volcano. It erupted orange. I'm going, oh, it's gonna explode. so I've learned a lot, but it gets really hot in here, and then it stays covered, and then we put it to dry for 4 weeks. So when somebody says, oh, you're out of that scent, I'm like, yep, but it's almost up. I know it takes a long time. It's almost ready. So my mom has been busy helping me. So let me tell you, the soap rack is always full.
Good.
Which is good. So
Now, do you always make scented, or do you make any just plain old?
I make unscented. And this, okay, so the base of this one is coconut oil. And then I have another one that I make a few scents in that is beef tallow, just because that was like the old time remedy for eczema. That was like the big thing. So I do make a few bar of those. But the coconut oil is, of course, my popular one because it's a little bit cheaper to make. And it does work just as good. I mean, it's not like it's terrible. But if somebody is severe eczema, I'm always like, grab a tallow, just so. Okay, so that's the beeswax.
So we had coconut oil as the base, and we added the beeswax to it?
Right.
Okay.
Olive oil. I mean, we keep it basic. I want everybody to know what they're putting on their skin. I had a lady tell me that. She's like, well, I need to know the ingredients. I said, absolutely. Flip that tag over. I said, I would never not tell you anything. The only other thing that I see people ask about is lye in soap.
We were talking about that on the way over. I was telling my daughter, I said, well, the old way was a fat base with lye. And that can get a little hairy if you get that on you. But I know a lot of people still use it.
Lye is actually not according to the official rule. We wouldn't have to list lye on there because after the soap has set 2 weeks, the lye's gone.
Right.
So, but I do, because guess what? I've put it in there.
Okay.
If people want to ask me about it,
please
do, because I want you to know everything that has been put in there. But lye is not something that stays in the soap.
And that is what allows it to basically become soap, right? It's the activation ingredient.
Right. That allows it to get hard.
So I noticed you were taking some temperature there. Are you looking for a magic number, or?
I try to soap low, at a low temp, try to stay around 100. We're going to have to get some of that, though, melted down a little bit. Because you got to keep your milk mixture about 10 to 15 degrees within your oil mixture. Or they're not going to mix well. So, and I freeze the milk because the lye heats it up so fast. So when you start adding lye, you got to do it slow because it will heat up. And if I let the lye sit on the milk, it actually scalds the milk. And So
you are adding, so you have frozen goat's milk there that you're adding lye to.
Right.
And it'll actually get hot.
It'll get hot.
That is so cool.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the scary part to people is the lye part. And that's why and they're like, oh my gosh, you want me to put that on my skin, but you have to have the lye.
Now I noticed that you are wearing gloves and you also have glasses, so your eyes are protected and skin is protected.
Absolutely. Because lye can burn you.
Absolutely. So essentially, you are trying to keep the original mixture at approximately the same temperature as this, so they mix better.
And I tried to not let the milk turn a dark yellow. That's why you have to go so slow. And that's why, I like to add this because a lot of people take their lye and mix it with water, so that step is done. So when they go to add it here, they're watering down their milk. We never do that. We keep as much of the milk in there as milk, and it's just so they can speed up the process a little.
Gotcha.
And I would rather have them have no water added.
How long have you been doing this?
3 years. No, we're close. I'm at 99.
So we went from frozen. Oh yeah. You can already feel it warming up. That is something. Is there a sweet spot with the amount of lye that you use? Is there a danger zone if you do too much or too
little? Let me tell you, there is a soap calculator. You have to go online, and I use a soap calculator online, and you put in everything you use in your soap, and it tells you how much lye, how much liquid to how much oil, and how big of a batch you want. So I put in what batch I want, and then it tells me how much lye I need. Because you can get them lye heavy, and then that doesn't come out. So it kind of sits in there, and it won't go out.
I guess that's one way to exfoliate, is you have a little lye in there, but
Just
not
a little
ideal.
extra.
Yeah.
Take a layer off.
Right. Any big differences that you could really nail down for us from when you started to now? Is there anything that you've just like, you initially did and you're just like, no, this ain't working, and any methods that you've really changed since you've started?
Yeah, we've changed a few ingredients to try to harden the bar just a little bit more, and adding the beeswax.
Okay.
But instead of really changing my basic recipe, I kind of just added the tallow or added a face soap. My goal when we started was to keep things cost efficient for people, because to me this was really important for people to use instead of putting whatever on their skin.
Sure.
I know that sounds crazy, but it really was.
That makes sense.
So if I could keep it cost efficient and get it in people's hands, that was my goal. And then I thought, well, if people want a little more something extra, I'll do the tallow soap, because that does cost me a little bit more. Or the face soaps are my most expensive, of course, because I've got charcoal in there and different oils. Facial oils, actually, in there. You can use it as a bar of soap, but I got facial oils in there.
So what's your temp you're aiming for?
Okay, I usually aim for about 100. It's at 112. That's not bad. It cools down quick. And it's all with the stirring, too. So when my mom makes it, she's like, this. I'm like, it's all in the stirring, I think, too.
So will the stirring make it heat up faster?
It will make it heat up faster.
Okay. Now, eventually, will it peak at a temp and then start to come back down?
It will.
Okay.
The longer you let it set, it'll finally start to drop. Okay. So that is kind of nice if we do run into an incident. But when it gets too hot, when you get up to 125, that's when it starts to change color. And then I hurried up and put it in a sink of cold water to try to cool it down quicker. So I like to lay out the milk for a little bit before I start, just so I can break it up some. And then can control things a little bit better. But if I let it lay out too long and get sidetracked with something silly like straw sale, egg sale,
right,
and then I'm in trouble. Because then I should really just put it back in the freezer and get another one out, and I don't. Okay, we're going to mix both. So you always mix your milk and lye into your oils. Let the snow fall.
Okay.
That's how
an easy way to remember it.
And you always think, oh my gosh, there's some lye in there still. It's you got to scrape the sides and go. It's fine. It just doesn't look like it's went with the milk, but it is totally fine. Okay, then we pulse it until it comes to a trace, which is kind of like a pudding mixture.
Okay. So this is immediately going to start to set up a little then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want it to start to set up before you put your scent in. And it also like cools down, so when you add that scent, it stays a little bit better. I try to keep it from bubbling, but I can't always do that.
So definitely easy does it. Pulsing, don't go nuts.
Don't go crazy, let me tell you. Those are things that I've learned.
And that's going to keep the bubbling down too, I would assume.
Right. And I leave mine at a slant. Some people don't, but I feel like then I don't get as many bubbles. I don't know. And I always have to stop and stir it because I have to feel how thick it's getting.
Right.
It's all by feel now. I'm finally to that stage.
Yeah.
And then you'll see though, once you add the scent to it, it almost gets thin again. And you're kind of like, oh boy, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But it'll thicken back up. People like the scent. They love the smell.
And so this is basically essential oils, or?
It's a mix of essential oils and fragrance oils.
Okay.
To keep it, again, cost efficient. Because all essential oils, and you have to order from a soap company.
Right.
The oils you need, because I I like Young Living essential oils for my house to diffuse, but cost-wise, that doesn't work in this. So
What scent did you add to this?
this is Shave and Haircut.
Okay.
This is for the guys line, but I have a lot of women that buy it because I love the smell of it too. That's the only hard part is deciding what scent you're going to get because we don't have anybody locally we can buy from.
Right.
You know, I have to order online and take reviews and order small amounts and then decide if I like it and test it. The testing phase is a lot.
So too much
you can
scent.
pour.
Too much scent versus not enough.
Please, can you pour today? I told you that before. I don't want to try to pour. My hands hurt.
I'll send you guys private links to these sections of the videos.
Come on, Chief. Let's do this. You
So
got
when
this.
we're
It's
looking
big
at the
habit.
consistency,
I know.
so when we're looking at the consistency here, it's almost like a pudding.
It's almost like a pudding. My mom likes it a little bit thinner when she pours, but I probably got a pinch thick. But it's like a pudding. I like it like a pudding because I don't make as big of a mess.
So you don't need to prep these trays at all. They're latex; they'll just pop out.
They'll
or-
pop out, and then we have to wash them afterwards and thoroughly dry. You know, they hang to dry and make sure they're dry good. But yeah, these pop out. So it'll sit in here for 24 hours, and then we'll pop them out.
Now, do you have to dress up the bars at all when you take them out, or?
I do not. Let me tell you why. So this is my basic bar of soap. I don't put any color in them or anything because you're using it on your skin every day.
Right.
If you want something special, I will gladly sell you sugar scrub or a bath bomb that you don't use on your skin every day.
Right.
But since people are using these every day, and if I did that, then I gotta up my cost. You know, I can't just make them all pretty and not have it cost efficient. So I don't. I did have a lady tell me at a market one time, she goes, you know, the other lady kind of colors her soap. It's really pretty. As she's got an armload of my soap.
Right.
You know, I'm like, how nice is that for you? But
Right.
obviously you're buying my soap.
So what is Jackie doing here? She's just
Okay.
trying to get any air out of it and get it
Right.
to settle.
And get it to, settle to the bottom and make sure all the corners are filled so our bars are perfectly square around there.
And what size bars are these?
Okay, so these are actually 4.5 ounces now.
Okay.
Once they cure, they'll be 4 ounces for sure. But on my tags, everybody will see 3.5 ounces. That's because by law, if I had one fall below 4 ounces, of course, I'm in trouble. So I always aim low, just in case. But they will be 4 ounces after they cure.
I see she needed a little bit in one area, just scooped up, put it over
Scoop
there.
it, move it around. You don't
Oh,
have to
you,
whisk
you
it.
can work it. You can work
Yeah.
it a little better.
Yeah.
And I actually like that when I look at the soap, it's got some texture to it. It looks like it was actually made
homemade.
in a
It's
home
not-
instead
Yeah.
of a factory.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Okay, so now we put the box on. It will heat up. Every time we make a batch of soap, we make a tag with the name, when we made it, and when it will be ready, so that we can just have it on hand, and then I know what's going on. Hopefully,
So this is going to go through a process of heating up,
it will heat
cooling
it up.
down.
Yeah, it'll heat it up, and it'll get where if you took the lid off a little later, you think, oh, that color's not going to be pretty,
Right.
and then it goes straight back to this color. So any of the scents that you see online or anything of mine that are dark, it's because of vanilla.
Ah,
Anytime you use vanilla in a soap, it turns it dark. And it's something with the vanilla. And I can counteract that, but then I have to add another ingredient that to me, it's not a big deal to have a dark bar of soap. So I know Blue Man is my popular one, and it's got a lot of vanilla in it. So it's a dark soap, but that's why they get dark.
gotcha. So again, from today until ready, you said how many days?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. So this batch won't be ready until May 14th.
Wow.
Right. So you have to be ahead. So at holiday times, I start my Christmas in at least October.
Right.
You know, before Halloween, which took me a while to get used to because I'm a procrastinator.
So for someone that is trying this for the first time, do you have any advice as far as should they go with a certain kind? Should they just maybe try to just make plain old soap to start with?
I will say there's a lot of different things out there to try. Melt and pour. You can buy the melt and pour base with goat's milk in it. This is the best for your skin.
Okay.
Learning the cold process, this is called the cold process, after doing a bunch of research, is really the best for your skin. So I would recommend everybody to try this way and just use a soap calculator to make sure they're getting the right amounts of ingredients.
And we'll put some of that information in the description below so people can find where the soap calculator is. And then, as far as the shape of the mold, when you start getting into different shapes, does that make it harder, easier? Any issues with that?
Nope, no issues with that.
Okay.
I would just have to decide what scent should be what shape and what.
Right.
You can buy them just like this with design on the bottom, so that when they're done and you flip them out, the design's on one side. But I'm a little bit.
When I look at something like this, is this? So
That's my cow.
this is the cow, this is the goat, and you have a pig. So what are these? Are these the bath bombs?
These are bath bombs, and so is the round one.
Okay.
I started getting into animals because everybody's like, oh, you should have this shape. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to try it.
Right.
So the animals go like crazy.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And we also do a paintable bath bomb. So this would be all white, and then we send the paints, and the kids can paint them, or adults.
Right.
Doesn't
We
matter.
don't judge, right?
We do not, because my 21-year-old loves to paint my bath bombs for me. So they can paint them and then use them themselves. It's kind of like an activity all in one. But
Great.
yeah, so we started doing animal shapes.
And
soap crayons.
what else do we have over here? So we've really gone.
I know we've gone a little crazy. So I like to give kids something exciting and new at holidays. So we did soap crayons. And after seeing how much my kids love to write each other messages in the shower, I thought this is going to work. I test everything before it goes out. Does it stay in the tub? How long can that soap crayon stay on before it stains? So I left it on for 24 hours. Of course, now it's been on longer, and I'd take the shower head and just spray it off, and it still just comes right off. So I test everything. We did go into chapsticks. That doesn't have goat's milk in it because of the whole factor with the goat milk. I'd have to use powder, and I tried it, and it was gritty.
Oh, nobody wants gritty chapstick.
Nobody wants, no. So but this has goat's milk in it. The crayons do. And then we went into lotion, which of course has the goat's milk in it. And that is very popular.
Now, as far as storage of things that have goat's milk in it, I know some people are concerned about, does it keep? Does it go bad? Is there a certain temperature and things that you need to be cautious about?
The lotion is our pickiest, of course, because it hasn't went through a process yet. So the lotion is the pickiest. It can't, as I call it, a car lotion. I always keep lotion in my car. It can't be a car lotion in the summer.
Okay.
It can't get that hot.
Right.
So I do put 6 months for an expiration on it, just to play it safe. But I've used mine longer than that because I use whatever samples I have left. So I would say the lotion is the pickiest thing as far as how long it can last.
So not to get into the deep weeds of the business too much, because that would be a whole nother video. There's a lot. There is a learning curve for people that want to get started in a business. If you need to set up an LLC, if you need to charge taxes, I just cringe with my sales tax. Sales tax is tricky online when you have people from other states that are buying and everything else. But legally, when we're selling, a lot of people think that as long as people aren't eating it, there aren't really any legal parameters involved. Is there anything that people will need to consider if they're going to get into making like soaps and lotions and things like that? Kind of walk me through that.
So I just started an LLC because, and if you go through Indiana State, they pair you up with somebody to help you get all that started on your own, which was really nice. But as far as this side of it, I have to have insurance on all my products because in case something would happen, I have to be able to have something for insurance to back me up. So insurance, getting the LLC started, and the sales tax, yes, that is not friendly. And some people cringe when they come to an event and have to pay sales tax. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to too.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's not like you're pocketing that money.
It's not. Uncle Sam's not saying, you just keep that.
Right.
So, the sales tax thing is kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So, and the marketing. So the business and marketing, this side is fun for me. I'm getting ready to do shampoo bars.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're just...
Well, because I had a request for it, and I'm like, sure, we'll try it. So the first shampoo bars I made without a conditioner bar. And my mom loves it, but I'm a conditioner type of girl. I couldn't do it. Well, then after diving deeper into this, I have to pH test everything. Well, my pH was off for hair, so I can't use it for hair. I mean, every new product is such a learning curve.
Sure.
It's unbelievable. But there are plenty of groups out there to get involved in that people are nice enough to help you. And it's and Facebook is one of them. There's so many groups out there that will gladly help you. Okay, now I did this, what should I do? And people will answer you. It's great. So that's why I feel I need to pay it forward.
Right.
People helped me, so now it's my turn to help somebody.
Right. I think sometimes people get the mentality of everybody's competition, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. We have people that help us, we help people. It all just works itself out.
Right. Right.
Within reason.
Yeah.
So, real quick about the insurance, where on earth would someone go to get insurance for something like this?
You can get it on with your homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
But it was a little bit salty. I was like, whew. So I found a handmade artesian insurance group, and I got a policy from them, and my insurance company was nice enough to review it, and they said, that's a great policy for that price. You better get it.
Oh, good.
So, yeah,
Right.
that worked out really well for me. And that was one of those groups, the people listed different insurance companies they used, and I'm like, okay, we're going to try something.
Right.
So it works out good. So if somebody's making homemade products, the thing is if you make candles. Like if I did all this and made candles, it would.
Oh, yes, fire. Yeah.
So
No insurance carrier likes that.
right. So when you're making stuff, you got to decide how you want to,
Right.
which way you want to go with your products.
Sure.
Because that affects your insurance. So my friend sells candles, and I'm like, I can't have you with me. I'm sorry, because I don't have that insurance. As long as you have that insurance, that's fine. But I don't have that insurance. So on to the felting.
All right, Mom, you ready? Wow, you got designs in there.
Yeah, this is going to be yours to take home.
Look at that.
Fish. Unless you want that little dinky one, but this is my fish.
Little dinky one.
I forget that's even there sometimes.
Yeah.
And it gets edited out. So you could say anything. You could stub your toe.
You can take that
You
out.
could slap me in the face. You could do whatever you want. And we just edited it out. Like it never even happened. I just had this big red mark on my face, and everybody would be like,
Did you hit the wall?
We wouldn't do that.
what's going on?
Promise.
So Jackie, this
I'm smelling
you
this.
gotta sniff the product.
Black raspberry.
Oh, that's nice. So this was my favorite product. When I got the stuff from you guys, I was like, what is this? And I started using it. And as I was telling Tammy, I really like the felting because when I come in from working outside, it's just abrasive enough that it'll help take some of the stuff off. The other thing that I was kind of surprised with was I was wondering, okay, when this starts to wear down, like what does it do? And the whole thing just kind of shrinks up.
Yep.
So it's
The
very
fibers just all go down.
So whose baby is this? I've been told. Rumor is this is yours.
It's my baby.
So how?
That's right.
So how did this come to be that you decided to do felted soap?
Well, she mentioned it, my daughter, and then I thought I'd try it just for fun. Well, needless to say,
Right.
now it's a somewhat of a demand.
I can see why. So
Right.
like most fun things, if it gets to be too much fun and you get money involved, then it turns into a job.
Then it's work, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Would you say that this is a difficult process for
Not at
somebody
all.
that's new? No.
Anybody can do it.
Even me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So walk me through what we're doing here.
Usually I have all the yarn out here on this whole table. But today I already had it pre-measured. So you have to take your bar and you pre-measure. This is wool dyed. And then you wrap and you can wet it a little bit now if you want to make sure, because sometimes you got to watch your corners and everything. Then you put it in a nylon. And what you're trying to do is get these fibers to gel. So then you dip it in the hot, and you want to get it soaping, because that's what helps keep the fibers, you know, to start breaking them down for the
Gotcha.
felting part. Then you dip it in cold water, and you do the same thing. Now, my theory is some of these women do this for 15, 20 minutes. My theory is I do it 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do it 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've used your product.
And I've had good
it works
luck,
fine.
you
Yeah.
know.
Do you know much about the history of this process? Like
No.
I don't either.
I don't either. In fact, I get on to see, you know, like the felting part of it. You know, it breaks down the fibers. What is felting? And it's breaking down the wool fibers, and then of course it shrinks. Like if you washed a wool sweater, you know, it would shrink. And I have found to put designs on, I like to do it when it's still wet like this. So sometimes, where's our towel, Tammy? That black towel.
Okay.
Then I take the towel and I kind of get the dried good and shape it a little bit so it kind of looks more like a bar. Then if you want to felt something on it, I like to wet it, and then I use felting needles. Now there's felting needles that are V-shaped and there's felting needles that are straight. I have better luck with the V-shaped.
So what are we doing today as far as design?
A heart. So you just start.
I'm sure you've never stabbed yourself.
Oh yeah. No, not too bad. And I got this new wooden holder, but I don't know. Sometimes I think I like just the needle. I just think it catches better when it's damp. Now,
Sure.
sometimes I go over it again tomorrow, you know, and look at it. And if there's any imperfections,
Sure.
I take care of it. See, I don't like the way that went. And this can come down a little more. And then you just keep pulling little hunks off and filling it in till you get it, the design, you know, to make your design
Sure.
shape.
And you can get as crazy as you want it, I suppose.
Yeah,
depending-
and then sometimes I just take, like when I have just little pieces of scraps, I just take it and bundle it all together and try to get it to gel as much as I can. And then you can make designs similar to that or this one. And sometimes you have to hold on to it a little bit.
How long does it usually take these to dry out after you're done?
Overnight.
Oh, so not too bad.
But if you're going to send them in the mail or anything, I'd give it a couple days. But they're pretty dry by the next day. Oh,
You've
no.
got all
Oh,
kinds-
right there's a heart.
Yeah, see, look at that.
And there's flowers.
You got all kinds of stuff.
I was trying to do this.
Fish.
So
Some
this,
of our things are
and then I
abstract sometimes.
put it on a drying rack. And
Okay.
that's the end of it. That's easy.
Yeah, awesome.
See, now you'll be doing it.
I don't think so. I have enough problems as it is. All right, so thank you guys very much for inviting us in today and showing us how to do this. So I am going to include your contact information and webpage in the description below so people can check it out, and we'll see how busy you get, hopefully.
Yay! We're ready. We're ready.
So this was really great. Again, you know, this is definitely something outside of the box for our viewers to check out because, as we talked about, lots of people get focused on livestock sales, meat sales, things like this. This is a perfect example of something that I think you guys would agree you could start at home, start small, and kind of get a feel for it and work your way up. So all the information is below right here. They're going to actually see your web address is going to be right here in front of us. You just have to take my word. I know it's invisible right now, but it will be there. And we really do appreciate your time. So Tammy, Jackie, thank you very much. I'm Tim from Linessa Farms Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us again today, and I look forward to seeing all of you again next time.